All right, Jeremy Miner, welcome to the Wednesday. So the Wednesday Live. So on Wednesdays, what I like to do every single week is I like to bring out a client from a completely different industry. Every single week, we do this 52 weeks a year. We've done this for the past 2.5 years since we started, and we interview that client. Okay, could be a B2C client, could be a B2B client. It just depends. Okay, and we break down their sales process for you. Okay, so this individual that I'm going to bring out here today, just so you're aware before I bring him out, has only been in the training for 6 months. He's now in our advanced NEPQ 3.0 training, and he's gone from around a little bit under $6,000 a month to now well over, I believe last month he was over 23 or 24,000 last month in commissions in 1 month, and he's still learning. He barely got into, he went in our NEPQ 2.0 training portal, and then about a month ago he got into our NEPQ advanced 3.0 training portal and group training. So his incomes keep going every month. So we're going to bring out this individual. I'm going to interview him. He has promised to share with you some certain questions and different tonality that we have trained him in our 2.0 portal and specifically in our advanced 3.0 portal and group training. So he promised he's going to drop some of those nuggets. So we're going to spend about the next 25 to 30 minutes going through that interview with him. All right. Now, if you are, I'm going to bring him out here. Connor, how's it going, man?
It's going great. Thank you.
Connor, first of all, welcome. Okay. I like to interview a new client from a completely different industry every single week. And there's sometimes I'll interview a client that just got started here 2 months ago. There's sometimes I'll interview a client that's been here 6 months like you have. Other times one that maybe it's been here a year and a half, or 2 years. Okay. It just depends. All right. Now, where are you calling in from? Where are you at?
The suburbs of Chicago.
Okay. It's a little bit chilly there sometimes, from my understanding.
A little chilly.
I say I'm from Missouri, like a little bit west of St. Louis. So it's very cold in Missouri, but man, Chicago's on a whole different cold level. It's crazy. Those lakes, all right? So we're going to talk about that. Now, if you are brand new to the Facebook group Sales Revolution, because we're going live on StreamYard. So we're going live in the Facebook group Sales Revolution. I just looked, we just hit 55,000 members in that bad boy. We started about a year and a half ago. That thing is growing very fast. So we're going live in the Facebook group Sales Revolution. We're going live on the Facebook business page. There's almost 90,000 of you in there following us around. We're going live on our YouTube channel. That thing, we just started growing that thing really consistently. I think we're up to almost 30,000 subscribers. We've never done anything on YouTube. And then we're going live here on our LinkedIn channel and also my personal verified Facebook as well. Now, if you are brand new to all of that, you're like, who is this guy, the Hugo Boss dude, 7th Level? My name is Jeremy Miner. I'm the founder of 7th Level. Now, we are an organization that trains salespeople exactly like you watching me right here today. Okay, so we train sales professionals like you. We train sales executives like you. We train sales management, sales leadership, entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches, consultants. And as Connor is still learning, basically what we do is we help you transform the way you and your team sell by learning specific skilled questions and techniques that work with human behavior. What do I mean when I say work with human behavior rather than work against it? Are you sure the questions you're using and the verbiage you are saying is working with human behavior over here, or is it actually causing your prospects to emotionally shut down, leading to tons of objections and sales you are losing that our clients who are in the same industry as you watching are making those every single day? Okay. Now that's known as NEPQ. It stands for Neuro Emotional Persuasion Questioning. Okay. Now we have to teach you not just the questions, but the delivery of the questions asked at the right time. Okay. So what type of tone are you using when you're asking certain questions? You know, Connor and I are going to talk about this. There's certain questions in your sales process that require more of a curious tone. John, maybe walk me through what type of windows do you have? You know, something like that. Okay. We'll get into that. It's more detailed, but that's more of a curious tone. Okay. There's other questions in your repertoire, your sales process, that require more of a skeptical, a challenging tone. What happens if you don't do anything about this? See, that's a skeptical tone. Okay. But you can't be skeptical in the beginning. You don't have any trust or credibility yet with that prospect. There's other parts of your sales process and questions you have to learn that require more of a concern tone, a tone that shows more empathy. What's really holding you back from moving forward? See, that's a concerned tone. Well, how do you know when to shift your tone? Because there's even questions you should be asking where you're going to start with a more challenging tone, but then end the question with more of a concerned tone. Well, how do you do that? And when do you know to do that? Because if you don't understand that, that means you're losing deals that you could be making right now, every single day. Okay. Because your prospects have problems and your solution solves those. So if your prospects have problems and your solution solves those, why are they not buying from you? What's the missing link? We're going to talk about that today. The missing link is our sales ability. That's the missing link. And we'll talk about that. Okay. Now, if you're on the live right now, I see some of you do that. Go down to the bottom here, and I'm going to have you post hashtag live. So if you're on the live right now, post hashtag live. Okay. I better see a ton of these. So if you're on the live right now, go down to your phone. I better see a ton of hashtag lives because it's a very nice day here in Scottsdale. It's actually, well, hold on. No, it stopped raining. It's about 75. Maybe go golf. So I want you to post hashtag live. And if you're on, thank you, Walker. Thank you, Regis. Thank you, Tim. There's a bunch of you posting hashtag live. Some of you on StreamYard, it just says Facebook user, so I can't tell who you are. David on LinkedIn, thank you. Now, if you're on the replay, oh, Martin, I see you now. Carlos, Jay, Alan, Jimmy, welcome to the call. All right. Gia, Kylene, welcome. All right. Now, if you're on the replay, post hashtag replay. So if you're on the replay, post hashtag replay. Now, also, I'm going to have each of you go to your phone. I'm going to have you smash the heart button and smash the like button. Tim, you're right. Always a nice day in Scottsdale. Smash the heart button, smash the like button. I better see hundreds. There's 73, 75 of you on here between YouTube and the Facebook group and LinkedIn, all right? Smash the heart button, smash the like button. So smash the heart button, smash like button. I better see hundreds of smashed hearts. Why would I have Connor give you some of these different questions in tonality without you smashing the heart button and smashing the like button? I'm sure he's got better things to do. All right. Now, if you're wanting to acquire some of these skills we're going to talk a little bit about today, because I want to make sure everybody understands, if you watch me on Instagram with all of our reels, or LinkedIn with our reels, or Facebook with our reels, or YouTube with our shorts, what I'm giving you in those reels and shorts are little bitty nibbles compared to what our clients learn who go through our virtual training courses and group training with myself and our trainers. So I want you to imagine a 110,537 piece puzzle. If you're watching me on Reels, or if you're watching some stuff on YouTube, I'm giving you about 3 to 4 of those pieces of that puzzle. The rest, you have no idea. You have no idea what connection questions are and how to use them with the right tone. No idea what situation questions ask for your industry and why you're asking them and with what tone. You have no idea what problem awareness questions to ask and how to get prospects to open up and pull you in. I don't give any of that in the reels. You don't know how to ask consequence questions and how to respond if they don't land. Well, what do you do then? Because they're not always going to land 100% of the time. You don't know how to ask solution awareness questions to get them to focus on what their future is going to look like once all the newfound problems are solved. You don't know how to gap build. You don't know how to ask commitment questions and what commitment questions work for what industry. I mean, I could list 10,000 other things that we don't give out in reels and lives like this. So if you want to acquire those skills like our clients are, who are in the same industry as you watching me in this shirt, who are literally making 2, 3, and 5 times what you are right now, not because they're cooler or because they're just really strong or they have really nice nails or legs. None of that matters. It's simply they have more advanced sales ability than you do now because they've acquired it from us. That's it. That's the only difference that separates you from them. Okay? Now, I looked up Connor's industry that he's in. Connor, do you know what the average salesperson in your industry makes per year?
I do not.
$5,436.21.
Wow.
And within 6 months of you going through NEPQ, you're already at $24,000 a month. And I can assure you, in 6 months from now, you should be, as long as you stay in NEPQ 3.0, making double that in your industry, maybe higher. Okay. We have reps in your industry that make over $1 million a year now. Okay. Now, Connor, why don't you tell us what you sell? What industry are you in? What do you do over there, dude?
Window replacement. So window replacement, sliding door replacements, entry doors, home improvements, however you want to look
That's
at it.
considered the home improvement industry. So the first question I always have to ask anybody that I interview on here, okay, were you born out of your mother's womb with advanced questioning skills?
I was not.
Okay, so you weren't born out of your mother's womb, just advanced questioning, just coming out of your lips. Okay. Were you born with advanced tonality skills?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Were you born with advanced objection prevention and advanced objection handling skills?
Definitely not those.
So what you're suggesting to all of us here is you had to learn those skills.
Yep.
You had to acquire those skills.
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to acquire those skills that we're going to give you a little hint on here, message me directly right now. So if you're in the Facebook group or LinkedIn or the Facebook business page or my Facebook, message me directly right now. If you're on YouTube, you'll have to join the Facebook group because you can't message me directly on YouTube. Okay. If you can't figure out how to message me because you're an old dude that doesn't understand social media like myself, then post hashtag NEPQ, hashtag NEPQ, and either myself or one of our stunt doubles will message you back some different training options for your industry if you want to make a lot more than you are now, like Connor is. All right, Connor, nobody cares about me. They just care about themselves. Let's talk here. So walk me back before you got this job. So you just got into home improvement sales about 6 months ago, right?
Correct. Yeah.
What did you do before then?
Fitness coaching. So I still own a personal training studio, but home improvement was completely new. No experience.
Okay. So so what caused you to kind of get out of the fitness stuff? I know you still got it, but what caused you to get out of that and get into sales, into like a random industry?
Matt Ryder actually mentioned something. He said it's skills and opportunity, and income opportunity is much higher in the home improvement.
Okay.
So that's what initially attracted
me. You're like, hey, I need to make some more money. So you dove in head first 6 months ago.
Yes.
And walk me through when you joined that company, walk me through what type of sales training did you go through? What happened before NEPQ, before you knew anything about us?
So it was a 6-week full-time in-company training program.
Yeah.
Now that's going to be a lot about the ins and outs of the industry.
Of how the windows work?
Yeah. I have to do like actual assessments and things like that too. So
you learned how to measure the windows and all that stuff. Okay.
All of that.
You took the sales training, the product knowledge.
Yes.
And you jumped in, and tell us what happened in the beginning.
So, I fell pretty much flat on my face. So
tell me what happened. What do you mean by you fell flat on your face?
A lot of lower closing percentage, a lot of, I need to think about it.
So you'd go out, you'd make a presentation like they taught you.
Yes.
Nice, cool. Did you do it on an iPad or like flip chart? What'd you do?
Yeah, so I have an iPad down there that I built.
Had an iPad, some really cool slides, bells and whistles, makes it look really pretty, but yet they were still saying they wanted to think it over. Why?
Yeah, the biggest change I've had from that training to your training was waiting to present at the end. So in that style of doing it, I would be presenting up front really early.
Okay.
And it got me a lot of resistance.
Okay, because there was no gap.
No, I was presenting with 0 gap.
It's very hard to sell if they don't feel any gap from where they are compared to where they want to be. And that's the problem. Most of your prospects don't even know what the real situation is when you first start talking to them in any industry. They might have an idea, but they don't understand the depth of the problem, right? They don't understand the consequences of what happens if they don't do anything about solving the problem. So you sell windows. So what are people's main problems that you're selling to? Are they just old drafty windows? Like, what's the problem?
Yeah, old drafty windows, rot, that kind of thing.
Okay, it gets cold. Yeah. So one thing you're solving besides the draft coming in is you're helping probably, I'm assuming, reduce their electric bills, because I'm assuming those are really high in the winter when the air gets sucked out, the cold air comes in, right? Takes more to heat the home. So you're helping them save money. What else are you helping them solve?
Just the enjoyment of the home. So being able to, like, a lot of the times they can't open the windows or they're a pain to open them. So then they don't end up enjoying the home.
They don't enjoy the home in the summer. It could be, I mean, there's so many different things in every industry, nuances. It could be that maybe they have a newborn that sleeps up in the room upstairs, but because the windows are so up there, it's cold, causing the newborn to cry all the time. And then the mom and dad are exhausted, hard to go to. I mean, there's so many different things that could be going on with the old windows, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what caused you to be like, you know what? This product knowledge sales training that this company's given me is not really making me a lot of money. What caused you to go out and find like, hey, I need to acquire more advanced sales ability. I need to learn better questioning, better tone. What caused you to do that?
So I got NEPQ kind of early in my training. And the reason is I think the core to be successful at anything is to model people who have had success.
Probably a smart idea. Yes.
Yeah. So I like to get ahead of things versus get way behind the ball.
Get way behind and then hope and pray it changes and keep doing the same thing. That's probably a winning strategy. So you got into our NEPQ 2.0 portal.
Yep.
Okay. Which you're going to know. I don't know if you know this, but you do know I reshot all of NEPQ 2.0 about 4 weeks ago. It's being edited right now. And there's 15 new hours of NEPQ 2.0 that you've never seen yet. Did you know that?
I did not.
The surprise. You're going to log in here in a couple weeks when it's fully edited. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's certain things in here he didn't include in the first version of NEPQ 2.0 because I added about 5 hours more of content. And then I went through and made about 25% different changes to the first 12 hours. So you're welcome. So the first 15 hours, you're going to be like, wow, you better go through that a bunch. Now, you got into the portal. Now, here's one thing that I really love about your story. This is why I wanted to interview you. Okay, just so you know, because we train a lot of people in your industry that do really well, a lot of different industries. But when I heard this story, I'm like, I want to interview that guy. Okay. We as a company, we are massive. We're very big on data and collecting data from our clients. Okay. So just so everybody knows, we onboard around 1,200 to 1,600 new clients every single month after month. I mean, you're talking from 158 different industries. Your industry, every industry watching me here, okay? It could be a business that we're onboarding, okay? Or it could be like an individual like yourself, all right? But around 12 to 1,500 new clients every month. And that's not including like if they're a business that have 3,000 salespeople. I'm not including all those salespeople. That would be like one client, a business, okay? So we track everything. We track every single client. Every time we see a testimonial posted, because we get about 30 to 50 new testimonials every day. We have a little bit over 13,000 now, something like that. And I saw yours the other day, by the way. Well done. And so when we see a testimonial, we have our people go back. Our Sam Grinders, our vice president of delivery, and they go back and his team, they track it. So they put in your information and they're like, they can see how many hours you've gone through in the portal. They can see how many times you've logged in. They can see how many times you've went through certain sections and certain sections you didn't go through. And we monitor all of it. And you know what? The one thing that stands out from a salesperson or company who within 6 months makes 4 to 5 times the income or sales. Do you know what the one thing that separates somebody from maybe they're just increased their sales by 20% or 50% compared to the guy or gal that increased it by 500%? Do you know what the one thing is? Take a look. How many times they go through the portal?
Yeah.
100%. There is nothing else that differentiate our clients from ones who might only make a 30 to 50% improvement in sales compared to the ones like you that within 6 months are up 400 to 500%. It's just how many times they go through the portal. Now, tell us how many times you've gone through the portal in 6 months.
I think I went through 2.0 like 16 times. A lot. Yeah.
You went through it over 20 or over 200 some hours.
Yeah. A lot.
Now, when you go, I can't remember the exact numbers, like 227 hours. Now that takes dedication. Now, every time you went through that portal again, what did you pick up that you didn't understand the time before? What changed for you?
There's just always something new. I mean, there's nuance to every sale. So it's every part of 2.0 or even 3.0 is just another tool to have in the toolkit. So it's on the ready when it becomes appropriate to take it out.
And that's the key, because every single situation you're in with your prospect, it never goes cookie cutter 100%. There's always a little wiggle, right? They'll say something that throws you off for a second. Well, how do you loop around and get them back involved? They could ask a question that you have heard before, but they're asking it for a different reason. And now you have to do this and there's always tweaks, and you have to know where to go. And if you only go through our virtual training portal one time, you'll make more sales, just because you'll just use a couple more questions you never knew how to ask before. Your tone will shift a few here and there. But if you're wanting to go from $5,000 a month to $25,000 a month in 6 months, you're going to keep going it over and over and over. And the thing is the next 6 months, as you keep going through it over and over and over, guess what's going to happen? You're going to keep picking up more nuances, more tweaks, and it's going to start to conceptualize and make even more sense to you. So you know exactly where to go, no matter what the prospect does, says, ask. You know exactly where to balance, where to tweak, where to change, and to get them back on board. Now, let's give them maybe a few examples. So this is really important. So if you're one of our clients watching us right now, or let's say that you're about to get into one of our virtual training platforms or group training, we have all the data. The more times you go through the portal. And Connor, tell us how you did that. Was it like, I'm just going to crash through it like a TV series over the weekend? Or did you said like every day I'm spending 40 minutes and at this time I'm doing it? Like, how did you organize that?
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason, so I'll answer both, but the reason behind it is in my industry, no script. So
you're going in their home. It's not like
you
just sit there and have your questions written on your forearm that you just look at, right?
Yeah.
You got to really memorize what you're talking about.
And it's a different, the door opens and it's a completely unique environment. So it's, that was the reason for the training. And, you know, putting in the hours is important, but I think you have to do it in a way that's sustainable.
Yeah.
So I've just changed car time is NEPQ time.
See, this is smart. And the good thing that we did that you might not be aware of, Connor, in the portal, you know how they have the quizzes and stuff now, and the quizzes are good. But what we did is we removed them from this version of it, so you can listen to it in the car anytime that you want on your phone, anything, because you don't have to take the quiz. There you go.
Yeah, I had to quiz and drive, but we won't talk about
I don't want you to have to take it. Yeah, because what I didn't like about it, and the portal is amazing, but what I didn't like about it is when you're driving around in the car, you have to almost take the quiz to go to the next section.
You do. And
that's hard. So a lot of salespeople could only do it in the morning on their computer, and all that drive time where they could be learning and going through the portal, you know, over and over and over, going through appointments or errands, they just didn't have it. So now that's all solved. Boom.
Yeah, it'll be even better.
All right. Now let's give them some tactical stuff. So when you get into the home now, okay, maybe give us an example of maybe a connection question that you ask now that you never asked before, and kind of like how they respond to that, why it's so important to ask that for your industry.
Yeah. So the attracted attention question, I've changed it a little bit for mine, where I just say, so before we get started, what prompted you to book the assessment today? Okay.
And they say?
I say it that way because they'll tell me what the problem is that they're having with the windows.
Yeah.
And then I'll acknowledge that. And then, oh, okay. And then what was it about the company that attracted your attention?
Yeah. And another way you can do it is you can say, maybe if just so I have an understanding, what prompted you to have us come out today? Just so I understand the background. Well, we're kind of looking at this, and can I also ask, like, because there's a lot of different companies out there, what caused you to have us come out here compared to 50 other companies? Sometimes you can ask that. Depends. Now, in your industry, because some people will get multiple bids and quotes, I'd probably reword that a little bit differently, because then they could say, well, yeah, we're also having XYZ company come out tomorrow too. All right. So there's a couple other connection questions you'll want to ask for your space. But how does the prospect, just by asking that question, can I ask what prompted you to have us come out, just so I have a better understanding? How do they respond to that?
Yeah, well, when I say usually if I say what attracted your attention, they would go right into price focused. So when I said the prompting the assessment,
Yeah.
That got them more towards the problem focused.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big shift for your industry.
For this
And
industry.
other industries attracted your attention would give a different result. But these are the tweaks that you learn by going through group training. You can't learn these tweaks by just going through a platform, right?
Exactly.
You have to have both. Okay, this is why the group training is so important. Now, what's it? And there's other questions you have to ask in connection, but we don't have time to do that. What about a situation question? What's one good? Because you have to find out what their current situation is, and most prospects don't really know what their
So
situation is.
typically in situation, because it's the more logistical questions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask them, I want to figure out how old the windows are.
Yeah.
So I'll ask them, how long have they been in the home for?
Yeah.
And then I'll really quickly ask them, have they replaced the windows since they've been in the home? And then I'll also know, just because of part of our process, I want to know if there's a homeowners association as well.
Now, are you setting down when you're asking them that? Or are you saying, can you possibly show me the windows you're looking at? What are you doing?
I'm playing both ways. So, because it's, sometimes when you go right to the window, it can be hard to get some of that pertinent information. Okay. But taking control at the window is better, because then I can go right into problem awareness.
Yeah. So like I said, because we train a lot of people in your space, probably thousands actually. And so you can do it either or. A lot of times when we're in the group training, we'll be like, and can you, and you kind of almost act confused. You don't want to say, hey, show me the window, because you're gruff, right? Can you possibly show me the windows you were looking at possibly replacing? Yeah, sure. Go ahead and come over there. Oh, okay. Now, you have to ask the situation questions a little bit different if you're looking at the window compared to if you're in the living room, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't just come up to the window and be like, what type of windows are these? Right? Because then you look like you don't know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
But if you're sitting down on the couch, you can do that.
Yeah, typically I like to go sit down just for a moment, just to get the initial information, and then we'll go from there. And then once I hear what the problem is, I'll say, well, let's go take a look at the window.
Okay. Yeah. Can you possibly show me the windows in? It's even instead of saying, let's go look at the windows, I'm okay with that, Connor. But one thing you can do to get them to start pulling you in more is you can say, could you guys possibly show me the windows? Yeah, sure. We'll show you the windows. It's just a lighter way to get them to pull you in with what you do, just so you know. Okay. Now, we didn't even teach you that in the portal. Okay. Now, there's some other situation questions you have to ask for your space, but let's go into problem awareness. What's a good question you asked to get them to see that maybe they have some problems they didn't realize or understand they had?
Yeah, and this is one I've tweaked also with the advanced training a little bit, but the original one I did, and I had great success with it, was, do you like the windows that you currently have?
Okay, that's one way to do it. I'd probably reword it. What's another way?
I changed it. So typically they'll have the windows for, say, 20 years or so. Yeah. So there's a clear problem here. So I don't want to avoid that. So I'll say, well, it can't be all doom and gloom. What have you liked about the windows?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. And why do you say it that way? Tell us why you say that way. There's a psychological reason why we teach you how to do that.
Well, there's a couple. Well, one, so I can get into the two truths. But then the psychological reason is I think they're expecting me to pull those in there to sell them windows and go right to the problem.
Yeah.
Where it just kind of makes the conversation more natural.
Yeah. Now, with the windows you have, I mean, I know you brought us out here to possibly look to replace them, but it can't be all doom and gloom. What do you like about these windows? And they'll tell you what they like, but they'll also probably tell you what they don't like when you say that, don't they?
Yeah, and it is important to know what they like, because when you're replacing them, you're not necessarily totally changing them.
Yeah, see, the psychological power by asking that question is they're going to tell you what they like, but now they feel more comfortable in telling you what they don't like because they don't feel like they're forced. That's a huge psychological shift. I hope somebody picked that up, what we just did there. That's really important. Now, there's more to that, because when they tell you what they don't like, we have to clarify and probe off that. So give me an example of the last sale you made. You can go back to that. Okay. And what did they say they didn't like?
There was drafty windows.
Okay. And how did they say it? Did they just say, oh, we just don't like the draft, or did they expand?
That particular one, they were kind of a little off, but then I probed and then got them to expand.
Tell us how you probed. So yeah, I don't really like the draft coming in.
Oh, okay. Has that had an impact on the home?
Yeah. Okay. And I would even say, I like that. I would have a way to set that up where you can build even more of a gap. Mm-hmm. Hold on. draft, because that a draft in one home is sometimes different than another home. When you say draft, tell me what you mean by the draft.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, see, that builds a little bit more of a gap there before you then ask that question you just asked.
Yeah. A lot of times I will say like, oh, how do you mean draft?
That's good. See, that's better, because
Yeah.
now you're clarifying. And see, even though you might know what they mean by the draft, which you really don't, but you might assume you do because you talk to people every day about windows, you want the prospect to tell you about the draft, because they're not telling you, they're telling themselves. You want them to take you want them to feel that pain. Even though you might already know it, you want them to feel that, because that's where the buying, that's where the sale's made, in that emotion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you clarify. Oh, hold on. How do you mean by draft? And what did they say?
They'll just kind of be logistical. They'll say, "Oh, there's wind coming in over here," or there's a little bit of air coming in here.
A little bit of air. How do you mean? See, I'd even clarify that. Hold on. What little bit of air? Like, what do you mean? Now, would you also want to find out what their bills are like in the winter with that draft?
Yeah. A lot of times that's not always as readily available as the discomfort they're feeling.
Yeah, but it's just another way. So one thing you can do in situation questions with your industry, because we do this with your industry and solar as well, is we'll say, can you tell me a little bit more about your bill? Like, I know a lot of the year the bill's pretty low, but what have your bills gotten up to recently?
Yeah, that's really good.
See what I just did there?
Yeah, I'll add that in right away.
Psychological thing. Now, can you tell me a little bit more about you would say like electric bill, right?
Yeah, energy bill.
Can you tell me a little bit more about like your electric bill? Like I know most of the year it's pretty low, but what have they been making you pay recently? Or what have they been going up to recently? Now, why would I say I know a lot of the year are pretty low? So why would I downplay it?
So they upplay it.
Yes, because as a human being, when I downplay it, they're like, oh my gosh, no, it's horrible. But if I upplay it, yeah, I know the bills are really, really bad around here. They've been going up. They're not that bad. They'll downplay it if you upplay it. So when you downplay, now, can you tell me a little bit more about like your electric bill? Like I know most of the year it's pretty low, but what have they been going up to recently? That's a good question, because like, yeah, in the winter, man, it's been bad. Like we've been having to pay like blah, 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 blah. And see, that's another thing.
Yeah.
That they're now associating the cost of their electric bill to the problem. And now it's not just staying warm in the winter, but it's also about saving money. So the more reasons you're able to get them to say what they don't like, the bigger the gap builds and the easier it is for them to want to change. The less reasons you're able to get out of them, the gap is much smaller, harder it is for them to want to change. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. You're learning something new every day. Now tell me, we got just a couple minutes here. Tell me a good solution awareness question you're asking them to get them to see what the future is going to look like once these newfound problems are solved.
Yeah. So like kind of like the ideal criteria.
Anything. I don't care.
Oh, okay. Well, I usually start off the solution awareness with, before we talk today, what have you done about changing the windows, if anything?
Yeah, okay. Before he had me come out, were you out there looking for, different windows you could put in that would, lower your electric bill, get the draft out, or what were you doing about getting the bill lower, or whatever the problem they said they had, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you ask that question?
Because I want to know what they've done, and a lot of times you can probe there too. Because if they've been having a problem for 2 years and they haven't done anything about it, then it's a good time to bring up like, well, what's prevented you from?
Yeah, it gets them to internalize like, why have I not changed this yet?
Yeah.
Reduces your I want to think it over. We're running out of time, but what's a good consequence question you use to get them to see what the consequences are if they don't do anything?
So when we're at the window kind of looking at it, I'd say, have you thought about what would happen if you didn't change these windows and the draft got worse?
Have you thought about what would happen if you didn't change out these windows and your bill kept going up or something like that? Okay. So you're putting in the negative thing they don't like at the end. And how do they typically react to that?
You got to give them, like, usually give people space to answer the question, but then they'll think about it and then, no, I haven't thought about it. And then I would say, well, if you thought about it, and then they would usually answer.
See, that's a good technique. So if they're like, I haven't really thought, well, if you really thought about it.
Yeah.
Well, if you really thought about it.
Because a lot of times they're in pretty bad shape. I mean, it's not a secret. It's pretty visual.
It's pretty visual. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we don't have time to go through your presentation. What's a good commitment question you ask at the end to get them to commit to take the next step, purchase what you're offering?
Yeah. So after the presentation and everything, I've shown them everything. Then I would say, do you feel like this could be the answer for you?
Why did you use a verbal pause there?
Yeah, well, because you taught me to, but
yeah. Everybody, why you wouldn't want to say, do you feel like this could be the answer for you? Why say, do you feel like this could be the answer for you? See the verbal pause. Why would we do that psychologically with the prospect?
Just so it doesn't feel scripted. It's not so scripted. It
feels natural.
Yeah,
but when we have a verbal pause right before a word we really want to emphasize, answer for you, it causes the human being to think deeper about the question we're asking. That's the biggest reason, especially when we slow down. All right, Connor, well done. Hey, congratulations on your results going from $5,000 a month to 24 grand a month within 6 months in commission, same industry. You keep going through the portal, the 3.0, especially with the group training with our trainers and myself on Tuesday. I mean, I would say within 6 months, you should be double that income. You should be up to 45 grand plus a month. And then if you keep going, eventually if you get into inner circle, that's where you're going to get up to 70, 80, 100 grand a month in commissions. We have a lot of people that have been through our inner circle program in your space that make that now.
Yeah, the live trainings have been a game changer for 3.
In what way?
So you have the portal, but then when you go through like the Facebook live trainings in the private group, I've been doing a lot of the skills with James. And
James is one of our sales trainers.
Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal because there's so much nuance and you just see so many different situations. I think when I was just going through the portal over and over again, it was the same yellow brick road where you see things go all over the place. But then he really teaches you how to pull it back.
100%. All right, well done. Now, you guys want to start acquiring some of these advanced skills because, like I said, in these little lives, the little reels, things you see online that we do, if you're not a client, are very basic that we give you compared to what Connor and tens of thousands of our clients go through our virtual training portals and our group training that's more industry specific. Okay, so you want to acquire those skills, those elite skills. You want to start making your first 10 grand a month in commissions in your industry, or your first 15 or 20 grand every single month, or 25 or 30 grand every single month with what you sell or hire. Message me directly right now. Connor, is that how you did it? Did you just message me directly one day and you got on a call with one of our team members?
I did actually. Yeah. I did originally I did the black book of questions, then got a call 2.0, now 3.0. And now I'll never know.
What would have happened if you never booked a call with one of our team members to go through the different training options we have?
I don't want to think about it. But if I thought about it, it would not be good.
You'd probably still be at 5 or 6 grand a month.
Yeah, I would not be where I was today. Absolutely. So I definitely appreciate everything you guys put into the program. It means a lot.
That's so important. I see some people message in the Facebook group, I don't want to book a call. Well, you don't have to. You just stay at the same income you're at. We book calls because we're a sales training organization, and we don't have one training program with one price. We have 26 different training programs and group training options. And it depends on your industry you're in. It depends on if you're a rookie or a veteran salesperson. It depends on your commission level you're at now compared to what you're wanting. There's different factors that we take in consideration. And once the team member understands those factors, we then suggest the training program that we know is going to make you the most sales the quickest.
And I'll say too to that, I was one of those people who was resistant to the book the call. Yeah. And thank God I did. Because I'd be where I was when I started. I was resistant to it, but get on the call, get the help. And then if you do,
what type of sales training company would we be if we didn't have you booked in calls and we just threw out prices all over the place? Are we going to teach you how to do that with your guys' prospects? Yeah. Probably not going to help you sell that much, right? Okay, there you go. We actually do what we train salespeople to do. That's why it works. Good Lord. All right, Connor, well done. Congratulations, everybody. See you soon. Thanks for the interview, Connor. You're the man. Appreciate it, dude. Keep it doing good.